Welcome to a mini episode of predictions because Derek reminded me that there is a company called Impact, and then there's also a pay-per-view for Slammiversary, um, which is been going on for a while. I don't know what anniversary. I don't know which one this was, but
I think this is the
Slammiversary's been around
20th.
for a long. How long has it been around? A
I think
long
this is number
time.
20.
20. Oh yeah. So obviously everybody's talking about this pay-per-view this weekend. And but as much crap as I talk, there's a lot of good talent. So let's just get into this. Let's go with number 8. Right off the bat, we have Matt Cardona. In case you don't know who that is, that used to be Zack Ryder. Matt Cardona versus and TBA. So a mystery girl, which I believe we all know who that's going to be.
Chelsea.
Yes, versus Brian Myers and Tennille Dashwood. So why are we picking Matt Cardona? Because that's the only person that's going to win this.
Yeah, I'm going Matt Cardona, but I think Chelsea's going to get the pin.
I don't think that Chelsea will get the pin. I feel like this is Slammiversary. I believe Chelsea Green is, since she's in Ring of Honor as well now. I feel like she's gonna have that thing where she's probably not signed with anywhere, but I don't think that the companies are necessary. They know that they're going to get the pop from her, but I feel like there's no point in giving her a pin if all of a sudden she just goes gives her a win and then just somebody that's not signed to the company. But Matt Cardona, because Brian Myers won last time, so I'm just gonna go with Matt Cardona.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. The next is Eddie Edwards versus W. Morrissey or Big Cass.
I'm going to go Big Cass.
Definitely Big Cass, because Eddie Edwards is basically the Tommy Dreamer of Impact now, and yeah, I just feel like it's definitely gonna be Big Cass or the.
Yeah, Eddie Edwards is the guy that loses, but when he wins, you're not really surprised.
Yeah. The like Eddie Edwards, like he's somebody that, and he's great in the ring, but ever since he changed his ring attire and he's just not what he was. And I feel like he's a good hand, but he's not somebody that I'm like, oh, I hope this guy goes to this company now. I'm like, yeah, you stay in Impact and you be the best Impact you can be. But yeah, then we have Fire and Flava versus Havoc and Rosemary. I think it's gonna be Fire and Flava. I don't really know much about either of these two teams. I know that Fire and Flava are a 2-time tag champs for Impact. They just recently re-won them, so I don't think that they're going to lose them. I feel like there's more life in probably Havoc and Rosemary eventually feuding, and maybe Fire and Flava are going to hold on that until maybe the Iconics show up. So if the Iconics also do a thing where they're going to maybe not sign somewhere and kind of have some fun with things, even though I do kind of think Iconics are going to go to AEW, but
Same. I'm going Havoc and Rosemary. Impact is known for kind of hot-shotting the titles, but I think that their eventual loss will be what splits them.
Okay. Next is Violent by Design versus. Okay, so this is very confusing. It's a 4-way tag match for the Impact. Okay, so it's Violent by Design versus Rick Swan and Willie Mack versus Falaba and somebody that's not announced versus Good Brothers. I'm gonna go with the Good Brothers.
I think I'm going to go Rich Swann and Willie.
Okay.
Yeah, the Good Brothers. Are they're I mean they're solid contenders for any tag title, but I think that they're going to start doing some solo stuff and probably going to Japan soon.
Who do you think? The Good Brothers? Do you think? Okay.
Yeah, but
All right.
I think that it's going to be Willie and Big and Rich.
How long? Do you know what their contract was for Impact? How long it was supposed to be?
I'm not sure. I think it's 2 years.
2 years. Okay. All right. Then Deanna Perrazzo versus another TBA.
Yeah, and that one they've hinted that it could be the Iconics, it could be Chelsea, it could be Mickey James. I think it'll be Mickey James, and I hope that Mickey James wins. But Deanna is a really good champion, so I'm gonna stay with. I'm gonna go with the TBA, though.
I'm gonna go Deanna Perrazzo, because yeah, I'm just gonna go that direction. I think that. I mean, unless they do Mickey James, but I feel like Mickey James she's going to be mainly doing NWA. That yeah, I'm going to go Deanna Perrazzo. The next match is Chris Sabin versus Moose. It's going to be Moose.
Yeah, it's probably.
It's definitely not going to be Sabin. Moose just re-signed. They're not going to be like, "Thank you for signing. We're going to need you to job to Chris Sabin."
Yeah, and Moose has gotten so much better lately. Like if Moose was this good the whole time, like I think he would have been way bigger anywhere else. Like, but I think Moose is going to get the win in a very dominant way.
Yeah, I think so too. And then we have an Ultimate X match for the Impact X Division Championship, which is Josh Alexander, Petey Williams, Trey Miguel, Ace Austin, Chris Bay, Rohit Raju.
Rohit Raju.
Sorry for butchering that name. But then again, like I said, I always forget that Impact is around. So I don't even know anything about that guy. I know I've seen him once. Josh Alexander is going to win. That's what
I'm going Chris Bay. I have to go Chris Bay.
I don't blame you for going Chris Bay. Chris Bay is the most interesting out of every single person on there. But I've seen that they're really trying to push this Josh Alexander and as the new X Division like pioneer. But if I want who I would want to win, it would definitely be Chris Bay.
Bay is Bay.
And then the main event, which is Sami Callihan versus a guy you might know as Kenny Omega.
This one, I think I want to go Sami because I think Kenny's going to start losing his titles. But I think he's going to retain because it's no DQ. And Kenny has a lot more friends than Sami does. So I'm going Kenny.
Going Sami. Because you said that Kenny has more friends than Sami, but Kenny doesn't have enough friends that he doesn't have more friends than there is a roster of Impact people. And I feel like Good Brothers are going to get involved. I don't even see the Bucks showing up for this. I do think that the Good Brothers though are going to get involved to try to help Kenny. And I feel like a ton of Impact roster people are going to come in there and basically beat the hell out of every person that interferes, and also just straight up take out Kenny. I feel like Kenny saves face because the roster beat him, and I think that it's going to be one of those things where basically Impact screws over Kenny, and this will be the last we see Kenny in Impact.
That's a good theory. I mean, like, I like it. I could see that happening, but I still think that Kenny is going to have it a little bit longer. I think Andrade is going to be the first person that takes the title off Kenny, and it'll be the AAA title.
See, I think this is going to be the slow descent. I think that he's going to lose this one, and then he's going to lose the one to Andrade. I can't pronounce his name either, but El Idol.
El Idolo.
Idolo. And then he'll eventually lose the AEW championship to somebody.
Hangman.
I hope it's Hangman. I'm very conflicted because I feel like if it's not, this is what I was talking to Dan earlier, that if it's not Hangman, then it's going to be Brian Cage.
Yeah, I could see that too.
Because I feel like
I think that Hangman beats Kenny, Cage beats Hangman.
Well, the fact that I feel like as Cage is going to be built as a mega face now, the whole thing with happening with Taz.
That's true.
So that's the only reason I think if I was in charge of booking it, I definitely wouldn't put Cage anywhere near the title, but I would definitely have Hangman be the one that takes it off of Omega. The story is there. If they don't give it to Hangman, then they just fucked the whole story.
Yeah.
So and that would be long-term story building just right out the window. But yeah, sure. So I feel like this is the first one to kind of unhinge Kenny, and you have the excuse of that it's that he completely got screwed, and I think that's why they added the no disqualification, because you're going to think it's going to benefit the Good Brothers and Kenny because Sammy doesn't have any friends. But then when everybody else comes after him, so that way Impact can get their own championship back, I feel like that's going to be like the swerve.
Well, the big problem is that then they run into the problem that they had with the Outsiders, where the Outsiders took out the whole WCW roster, and now they're like, oh, it took the whole roster to take one guy out.
Oh yeah, it's 100%. But there's nobody. My theory is there's just nobody on Kenny Omega's level in Impact.
Not right now, no.
And I don't even see anybody even going over there being that person. Like Kenny Omega is a top guy. I mean, he's one of the best. Like no matter where, if he went to WWE, he'd be a top guy. He's not gonna be an NXT guy, regardless of my personal. Because I'm not totally sold on the Kenny Omega, but at the end of the day, he's a great wrestler, and he's just a top guy. But I just feel like Impact, no matter who they bring in there, is not going to be on Kenny Omega's level.
No.
And so I feel like this is one of those things like, Impact is the one that put themselves in this position. And I don't know. If they would have given it to Moose, I would have been like, yeah, all right, Moose is that guy. But Sami Callihan's not that guy. Like, I like Sami Callihan. He's awesome. But if we're talking about just straight up wrestling, he's not that guy. He's a deathmatch guy. So he's not the 5-star guy that is going to take Kenny Omega to the limit. Unless it's like a exploding match that doesn't explode, then Kenny's going to have to lose to the whole roster.
It's true.
So,
but I think it'll be a good show regardless.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of great talent. Like I will make fun of lots of Impact. I will continue to make fun of Impact. The next time we talk about an Impact pay-per-view, I will also mention that I forgot Impact existed, but there is a ton of great talent. There's people that are in a year from now aren't going to be in the company and they're going to be somewhere else. And there's going to be more people that go from other companies that are going to go to Impact. Impact right now is always going to be the company where you're going to have some cool people just have some fun.
Yeah.
And so I do think it's going to be a fun pay-per-view. I did not know it was tomorrow, or tonight when this airs. But yeah, we'll see what happens in the future. And Derek, would you like to add the like
the video, share the video, subscribe, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and tell us we're pretty.
There we go.